Hi, it's Phil here from Now Fix It, and in this video I'm going to show you how to change your socket. And you might want to do this if you've got a crack in the faceplate of your socket, or maybe it stopped working for some reason, or if you want to upgrade. So you're allowed to replace certain items like sockets in your home, as long as when you do so you do it like for like, and if you're competent to do so. And I'll cover what makes you competent to do so as we make our way through the video. But the first thing it starts with is isolating the electrical supply so that you can work on it safely. So whenever I'm replacing a socket, I like a good visual indication that the power's off. And usually I do this just with a simple plug-in lamp. So we'll put that on. And now we'll go have a look at the consumer unit and flick the right breaker off. Okay, so this is my consumer unit in the garage. And this one here, I looked earlier, that one's for the kitchen sockets. And usually it'll have it written on it. And you can see here on the breaker in red it says on. So all I have to do is flick that to the off position. So it may not always be quite as obvious as that which one's the correct breaker. And that's where the light bulb comes in, because just flick the breaker off and then go check. And if the light bulb's gone off, then that's always a good indication you've got the right one. But technically we should verify with a meter that the power's off. Or with another device. For example, there's one called a socket tester, which is great for DIYers. And they light up to indicate the power's off. Now this is quite an unusual design, but I'm showing you in case this one's like yours. But this is a screwless faceplate. So as you can see, there's no screws. This is a much more common style, and this is where you'd find the screws. And sometimes there might be a little white cover over the screw, and you might have to get a small screwdriver just to flick it out. But what you'll see in a minute is once I have this faceplate off, then this design does have the screws, but they're just hidden behind at the moment. There's a variety of different tools you could use to flick that faceplate off, but I just have these handy little plastic pry bars, and these are the two screws I was talking about that were behind. So you just need the correct size flat blade screwdriver. Potentially is still live, even though we think we got the right breaker, so be careful. Once you get this off of the wall, then you'll see the wires behind, and you don't want to be touching any bare copper. Okay, so with those two screws out, we're ready to remove our electrical socket, and now we can see the wires behind. Now this one quite helpfully has them indicated. So brown is your live, blue is your neutral, and then this is your earth over here. They don't always have these colors on them. But if yours doesn't have those color indications, it might look a little bit like this one again. So if we have a look at this actually has the old wires in it. So red used to be live, black is the old one for neutral, and then this should probably have some sleeving on it, but this is the earth going to here. But if we look really closely here, you should see there's an L on there for live and an N over on this one for neutral. So there will always be some kind of indication on your replacement socket. So I've got my meter here. I'm just going to turn it to AC voltage, which is that one there. And now I'm just going to double check that the power's off. And I do this by putting one probe to the live and the other one to the neutral, and then looking for a voltage to appear on here. And you can see that's 0. One thing that's worth noting is sometimes you have to kind of really scratch your probes against the back of the screws and twist them, just to make sure you have a good connection, because I have had it before that even though I'm touching the screw, the connection wasn't good for some reason and nothing came up on the screen. The other thing that you might want to do is just test between live and earth on that one, and neutral and earth. Now don't be alarmed if sometimes that number changes just a little bit, like it might go to 3 volts or something like that, and I think it just did a minute ago, or 0.6 of a volt. Just make sure that it's not 200 volts or 240. If it's just a few, then it's not really anything to be concerned about, because you won't get a shock off that. The other thing you might want to do at this point, if you haven't done one of these before, is just take a picture of where the connections are going, just in case you forget. So I'm just going to do that now. Okay, let's get on with changing the socket. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the live. Doesn't really matter what order you do these in. And the neutral. And the earth. And now I can take away the old one. Now if we were putting a pretty standard socket on like this one, I already explained earlier that your neutral would go in here, the blue one. Your live would go in here, the brown. And then the 2 earth cables would go on here. But what I want to show you is my upgrade socket. So this is the socket that I'm going to fit. It's a metal faceplate. if there's a plastic back box in the back there, which you might get in hollow walls, for example, stud walls, etc., then you're fine. But can you see back there, there's a metal back box? So technically the metal screws which connect the faceplate to the back box create an earth path. And this means that if a wire gets cut through in your metal back box, say there's a sharp edge in it, then that makes sure everything's earthed. And so just by using these screws, then it's electrically compliant. But having said that, best practice is actually to add an extra earth lead. It's called a fly lead. And there's a stud for it in the back corner of the metal box with an extra earth cable that joins these when you fasten it onto the back of here. So I'm just going to do that now. So I've got a 1.5mm piece of copper, and as you can see, hopefully, I've just folded the end over. If you've got a single wire going into a connection, sometimes it's good to have it folded double because that gives the screw a bit more to grab onto. And way back there, I'm just going to loosen the screw off, and then I'm just going to insert this earth wire into there. And I'm just going to tighten that up. And now I'm just going to add a little bit of earthing sleeve to it. Now we're ready to put our new replacement socket on. So this one's color coded, so you can see that it's brown, but it also has the L for the live, which means these two go into it. So we'll push those fully in. Okay, now tighten those up. Now just a quick point to make about how tight to get these. I'm not an electrician, but I did work with one recently, and I was just surprised by exactly how tight he got these. So he really leaned on these, because apparently one of the biggest risks in a socket is some kind of short circuit caused by loose connections. So you really need to, really snug those up. Now we're ready to pop the neutrals into the blue. There's also an N on the back there. Get that tightened up, and then again I'm going to really snug that screw up nice and tight. Right. Now these earths, when there's only two of them, then I'd do exactly the same as those other wires and I'd just pop them in and tighten it up. But now that there's three, there is a school of thought that when you have three, you can end up with one of them loose if you're not careful. So what a lot of electricians will do is they'll twist it together if there's three of them. If you just have one, fold it over to make it twice the thickness. If you've got two, then that's perfect as it is. But if you've got three, then usually it's a good idea to twist them together. So I just have a pair of pliers for doing that. And try and get them all the same length. Okay, that's good. And then there's just one little strand that's poking out more than the rest, and I'll just trim that off because I don't want to accidentally only grab on one of them when I screw it in place. Okay, now this is pretty thick now, so you'll want to make sure that the screw is completely backed off, otherwise you'll never get that in. That's good, huh? So when we talked about a competent person earlier, then there were 4 things. Isolating effectively we've covered. It's the same type, so you're doing a like for like, so that's number 2. Oh, and by the way, if I decided to swap to a double socket with USB plugs in it as an upgrade, that would still have been considered like for like replacement. And that's because the wiring that goes into the back of the socket just stays the same. Number 3 is making sure you get everything tight and tidy. The earths are in place, the wires are fully pushed in, they're tightened up. And then the final one is testing. So the temptation now would be just to push that back, screw it in place, and then we're done. And then obviously you'd come to use it at some point, but really you should test this. So I've got my light as a visual detection. Going to click that on. And now I'm just going to go push the breaker back on. Was there a big flash and bang while I was away? No, it doesn't look that way. Okay, so great. The light bulb is a visual indication that the socket's working. And then, like I said, if you have a socket detector, you can just put it in. It might seem like overkill, but this is literally the last step to show that everything is as it should be. So I'm just going to test between the live and neutral. You'll probably see that go to 240 volts. There we go, 235. And I mentioned before that you can test between the live and the earth to show 240 volts as well. So let's get this all screwed back in place. Remember, this is live, so be careful while you're doing this. Or if you prefer, you can go and flick the breaker off while you put this in place. Just a quick extra little tip. Did you notice I only put that in a little bit, that screw? And that's because now this second one will be easier to get in because I can see in the back where this screw goes into. If I did that really tight first, I could be fishing about for ages on this left-hand side trying to get it to line up. But I don't think you'll see it on camera, but I can see to line it up, and so I'll just get it first time now. And if you want to make sure you have a professional finish, you usually have some flexibility on this, so you'll want to get that nice and level, and some people even put a little spirit level on there, but I'm happy just to eye this up. Don't go too tight with these, otherwise you can start denting the front plate, which doesn't look good. And if it was a plastic one, then sometimes you can crack it. Make sure that you feel confident to do this job if you decide to tackle it, and if you have any doubts at all, then please make sure that you consult with an electrician to give you some guidance on it. But if you've got any comments or questions, then please pop them in the comment section. And if you want to see more videos like this on all sorts of other topics, please consider subscribing, and maybe I'll see you in the next video. All that's left to say is, you've watched the video, now fix it. Thanks for watching, bye for now.